going on, everyone? I haven't made a video for a while, so I decided to take one today. A lot of people's asked me why I'm down on trucking and why I hate trucking, and why I tell anyone who asks me if they should go for a career in trucking, I always say do anything else. Go to a trade school, get your HVAC, learn how to weld, do anything else. Become a diesel mechanic, do anything. Learn electrician, just do anything like that. And maintenance, you name it. And the reason why is you're a piece of shit to society. Nobody cares about you out here. Nobody will let you over. I mean, you'll be trying to merge and people won't let you over. And, you know, people literally speed up. I usually get the finger about once a day, you know, whether it's my fault or not. Like, see, there's somebody merging on right there. So you try to move over. You know, you try to respect everybody out here. But then, you know, nobody respects you. You try to do right, and you try to do everything out here right. But yet, nobody cares about you. So, that's why I'm dead against trucking, is because, like I said, no one cares. You know, it's just all about everybody else anymore. It's like, perfect example. The other day, there was a girl that she didn't know whether to take 275 east or west, the outer belt around Cleveland, so she just stops in the middle of the road. I probably got, I mean, I'm not heavy, but I probably got about 30,000 on. Legally, you can haul 80,000 unless you have a permit. So I probably had 30,000 on. That's including the truck, trailer, and my freight back there. But I'm blowing the air horn at her, and because I'm pulling down my trailer brake right there. I'm on the brakes, you know, I'm trying to slow down, and she's just giving me the finger. I'm like, girl, I'm just trying not to kill you. And then it was like the other day. People just think you can stop in these, and you can't. That's why we try to give as much room as we can so we can get stopped, because people's constantly always cutting us off. And so that's why we give room. So the other day, I was in the right lane because, you know, I was in a slower truck. I'm governed at 68. So I'm in the right lane. I'm trying to move over. I've got a semi beside me. I've got nowhere to go. Literally nowhere. I'm trying to slow down. These people's wanting to ride beside me. So then they get all mad, and they ended up getting in the left lane, and then they go by me and they're saying, fuck you, and they're both flicking me off. And it's like, you know, it's not like I did it on purpose. I had literally nowhere to go. So it's things like that. That's why I tell people, don't get a career in trucking. It's not worth it. I mean, people just think like all you do all day is drive a truck. You know, it's easy. It's stressful. It's stressful every day. Like I said, you got people cutting you off, slamming on their brakes, stopping in the middle of the freeway. Just nobody merges. Just nobody knows how to drive anymore. I don't know if it's that people don't even know how to drive anymore, or if it's just self-entitlement, that just everybody's about their self and nobody cares about anybody else. You know, as long as I get there, as long as I make my money, you know, it's this world's come down to greed and everything else. I mean, just look at the fuel prices. Gas prices and diesel should never be this high. And, you know, but you got a president that wanted to close the pipelines and all this and that. And I'm not going to make this video, what am I thinking right now? I'm not going to make it political. There we go. Sorry, had a brain fart. But I'm not going to make it political. People know how I feel about Biden. And people knew long before he became president how I felt about him. So, you know, just like trying to mandate the vaccines and stuff. Just all this stuff that's going on should never happen. It's just like the lady I seen the other day. She's a Chinese lady. She came over here from China because she was sick of China and the communism and the tyranny and everything that goes on in that country. So she come to the United States for a better life. And she's running, I think it was in New Hampshire, I read. She's running for Congress up there, a seat. And, you know, so here's a lady that understands and actually sees it. But, you know, it's just sad that these people just don't care. They just, like I said, they're about their self, and they just don't care anymore. Nobody cares about anybody. Everybody's so uptight, and just everything offends everybody. You know, you can't even joke anymore. It seems like nowadays, if it just being white, you're a racist, and it's just, the world's just gotten out of control. You know, are you a boy or a girl? And you know, they're teaching all this stuff to these young kids. It's like, you know, I feel sorry for these young kids. You know, they gotta, I don't know. I guess I'm so glad I grew up when I did. I don't want to be older, but I would hate to live, you know, how these young kids have to now. I mean, granted, they got technology, which is great. You know, we used to have to go to the library and research stuff, and, you know, computers and all that started getting real popular. You know, when I was in high school, we had all that stuff. I mean, I ain't completely ancient yet, but I feel like it sometimes. But, you know, it's just, like I said, the politics, and just people don't care, you know? It's like, you got Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and Warren Buffett and all these guys that have billions of dollars, you know? And don't get me wrong, Jeff Bezos started out of his garage, and Elon Musk, you know, they've all worked their butt off. So I'm not saying they don't deserve to have billions of dollars. I'm not saying that at all. But all I'm saying is who needs billions of dollars? I mean, them guys couldn't spend that the rest of their life if they tried. So, you know, you just get sick of, you know, all this greed and things. You've got young kids in the U.S. that's starving every day that can't eat. And yet we got billionaires and millionaires that's over and over millionaires. And like I said, I don't care how much money people have. I'm not jealous of them. Even if I had millions, I would still drive my same old car, still have my same condo. I could care less. Like, that stuff, it just isn't, I'm not about that. Like, I wouldn't go out and buy me a Lamborghini and a Ferrari and a
in 5.7 miles. Continue on I-75 North.
Because that's just not how I am. I'm not flashy. I'm not going to wear chains and, you know, have to have Rolex watches, and that's just not my nature. So, like I said, before anybody says anything about Elon Musk or Bezos or Warren Buffett, you know, like I said, good for them. You know, that's great that they got all that money, but if I had all that money, I couldn't sleep at night knowing there's poor kids, you know, starving and everything else. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here, like I said, but people's asked me, though, why I'm dead on trucking, though, and I pretty much already told you why. Like I said, it's the self-respect out here. Nobody gives a shit about you, you know. You are a piece of shit to society, and I've told people over and over and over again in videos and my friends and everybody in life, if it wasn't for trucks, and some people disagree with me, but if it wasn't for trucks, America stops. I mean, it's as simple as that. Everything you have in your house, tables, chairs, TVs, food, you know, your fuel to get to work, everything has been transported by a truck. And I like when I'm driving down the road and I see these semis that will say things like,
in 4 miles, take exit 185, I-275, airport, to I-471.
Traffic's starting to pick up. I'm getting close to Cincinnati. But anyway, sorry, I got sidetracked again. But yeah, I would not recommend anybody driving a truck. It's just, my parents and everybody wonder why I get so mad at people drivers, and they don't understand it because they're not out here all the time. If they were, they would understand. And you know, you just get sick and tired of just the people that have no respect for you. But yeah, that's what I was talking about. Like I said, everything is transported by a truck. So when you're at your house, you know, the tires that's on the cars, you know, the coal for the semis, your tables, your chairs, your couches, your TVs, like I said, your fuel to get to work, everything is transported by a truck. I mean, and people will say, I've heard people say, well, we'll bring the railroads back. Okay, well, who's going to haul all the supplies to build all these railroads again, which is going to cost a lot of money. It's going to be the semis that's going to haul the supplies, and then you got to have coal for the semis, which once again, you got to have a semi. So you just cannot get away from trucks. You just can't. It's impossible. You know, all your food that you eat, the groceries, like I said, the fuel, getting to work, everything is transported by a truck. And people hate that because, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but a lot of people just, they hate truckers, you know. To people, we are just low-life scum of the earth, really, to a lot of people, you know. We don't have a college degree, you know, we were too dumb to go to college, you know, blah, blah, blah. I chose not to go to college. I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to go in debt and everything else, so I chose not to. But now our lovely president's wanting to give everybody that's went to college or that's struggling now $50,000. You know, what about all the kids that's already went to college, that's already paid it? You know, then this starts another whole problem. You know, why did they have to pay it all back, but now these kids don't? And the thing that pisses me off most about that is, it's not like you sign up to college and 4 years later,
to take exit 185, I-275, airport to I-471. Then keep right.
Not a surprise like that. You knew when you signed up to that college how much tuition was a year. You knew roundabouts how much you were going to have to pay for books and everything. And now it's like the president wants us to pay for it. So it's like me starting a business and failing. Like, okay, perfect example. I'm going to start a trucking business, okay? Well, if I start going in the hole because diesel's over $5 a gallon because of our lovely president, they're going to go, what am I going to say? Oh, well, I want $50,000. You know, I didn't go to college, but my business is failing and I've tried. Give me $50,000 for trying. You know, why not? It's the same difference, right? You went to college knowing how much it's going to cost. I'm taking a shot and trying to
exit
the industry.
5, I-275, airport to I-471. Then use the right 2 lanes to keep right to I-275 east to I-471.
That's what the world's come to. That's how stupid it sounds, you know? But you're not going to get that because, you know, I guess because you didn't go to college. But it's just, like I said, I am just so sick and tired of this world, and just everybody's offended over everything, and, you know, it's just gets old, you know, the greed, and like I said, every politician is a crook. I mean, they're all corrupt. That's how they got that high in life, is because they are corrupt. So, just like people that didn't like Trump, you know what? That's fine. You don't like Trump. I don't really care. He's an arrogant asshole. I'll admit to it. But you're going to vote for a guy that has been terrible for over 40 years, and you're going to vote for him because you hate Trump.
Continue 7 minutes to exit 74B, I-471 North, Newport, Cincinnati.
It's just a mess right now. And, you know, baby formula, our lovely president's blaming the truckers for that, you know, even though it's over with a lot of the illegals on the border. And, you know, there's a formula shortage, like there's been a shortage of everything. And Biden's blaming the truckers. Well, I've got news for you, Mr. Biden. I didn't get to sit home and collect $600 like a lot of people did. I've worked the whole time. I've never quit working from 2020 when I'm going to call it the plandemic, because it wasn't a pandemic. I still say, and I'll always say this, that Fauci and Bill Gates had a lot to do with that, because they knew it was big time money. Bill Gates don't want people to live to be old. Well, what did coronavirus kill a lot of people? It was the obese people, but it was the elderly. So, you know, they got rid of the elderly. They made all this money off this vaccine and stuff. It was a win-win for them. And Fauci said when Trump was president, he would have a pandemic. Okay, how did Fauci know that if he wasn't behind this? So Fauci's got blood on his hands too. He's just as corrupt as everybody else that's in politics. And yet a lot of people still believe in him and trust him and think he's a good guy and stuff, and he's terrible. He does not care about your health and everything. He's making so much money, he could care less if you live or die. He does not care about you. I'm telling you people that. So, it's just a lot of stuff that, you know, it'd be nice if people would open up their eyes. A lot of people has been telling me to look into that 2,000 mules. I honestly haven't looked into it yet, but I've had several people tell me to check into it. And I haven't yet, but I should. But like I said, nothing's going to surprise me in this world, because everything's corruption and greed and money. And it's a sad time we live in, because in this world, people don't care if you live or die. It's all about money. You know, these pharmaceutical companies, Moderna and Pfizer and J&J, and all the people that put all these vaccinations together, do you really think that, I mean, first off, if you died of the vaccine, they're going to say, well, you had high blood pressure, or you had high cholesterol, or you had a stroke, or, you know, they're going to say everything. They're never going to blame the vaccine. They never will. And I think the doctors have gotten kickbacks on this and everything else, because once again, it was all about money. And yeah, but anyway, like I said, I'm getting political again. I just can't help it, you know. This the way this is, and the fuel prices, and it just pisses me off, because I know people personally that's struggling to make ends meet, and it pisses me off that they have to struggle like this, and we got a president that just doesn't give a shit, and he gets on there and says, I feel your pain, and blah blah blah. None of these assholes feel our pain. Pelosi, Biden, Kamala, Schumer, none of them give a shit about us or people at all. Their kids are never going to go fight for this country. They're never going to go to war. They're always going to have all the money in the world, but yet they want to sit here and say, oh, we feel your pain. Bullshit. Are you struggling? Do you work a job? You know, they're making millions being corrupt and everything else. Martha Stewart went to prison for stocks and everything, and she didn't do a quarter of what the Clintons have done or Pelosi's done, but yet she did time in prison for the same thing that they've been doing. But once again, that's being a crooked politician, so they can do whatever they want and not get in trouble for it. But anyways, back to trucking. Like I said, if anybody sees this video and they are thinking about a career in trucking, I'm just telling you guys, don't do it. You will be miserable. And like I said, the people that get glorified is the military and stuff. You know, you'll hear people say, well, they're overseas or they're never home with their family. Well, guess what? You drive a truck, you're not going to be home with your family much either, and you're going to be a piece of shit to society, and you're not going to get glorified at all for what you do. And it's a very important job, and you're not going to get anything. Now, if you were in the military, people would be shaking your hand and saying, hey, thank you for your service and everything else. Whoever goes and drives a truck, you let me know how many people come up to you at a truck stop, or when you get out of your truck, that come up and shake your hand and say, hey, you know what? I really appreciate you bringing me my food and my fuel to get to work, and, you know, my everything. I really appreciate you. I've been trucking on and off for 11 years, and I have had one person tell me that in 11 years. Now, if I was in the Army and would have went that path and everything would have worked out for me, and I'd been an 88 Mike, I could have drove around in circles all day, and people would have been coming up to me. I'm a hero and everything else.
4B, I-471 North, Newport, Cincinnati.
This truck that I'm driving, I've done a lot more for our country than if I would have joined the Army. But yet, I would have got all the glory and praise and everything, and I'm not doing anything. But like I said, that's the way society's become. But like I said, in 11 years, I have been thanked by one person, and I was at a truck stop, and that guy happened to be an older man. And you know, the good population of the elderly people is passing on, and we're ending up with these younger kids that don't even know if they're a boy or girl. That's what we're getting into.
Exit 74B, I-471 North, Newport, Cincinnati.
If they're a boy or girl is going to be run their country, which as of right now, I don't know if anything could get any worse, but I don't want to say that because it possibly could. But I don't, like I said, I don't know how. So, but yeah, like I said, everybody, if you're thinking about driving a truck, don't do it. I just don't.
1 North Port Columbus.
And like I was talking about with the military, you're not going to get any thanks, you're not going to get any glory, and you're not going to be home with your family. These mega companies out here, Swift, Snyder, Pam, Prime, all these big companies out here, Werner, they're telling you that you'll be home for every 7 days out, you'll be home a day. You'll go out for 2 or 3 months and you'll be lucky to be home one or 2 days in 3 months. I'm telling you. Because these recruiters are going to lie to you and they're going to tell you all this stuff to get you on. And then when you get on, you ain't going to be home. I'm telling you, I've seen it a million times. My buddy went and drove for Prime and I told him, I said, don't listen to that recruiter. You're not going to be home at all. Well, the recruiter told me that I would be home like 2 days for every month. And I'm like, okay, believe him. So what happened was he went and drove for Prime like I told him that he ain't going to get home much. I think in 3 months, because he was going through his training and then he was driving by himself, I think he was home maybe a day or two in 3 months. And on one of them, he went out to, oh shoot, just lost my train of, Springfield, Missouri. That's where Prime is. He went out to Springfield, Missouri, so he drove for a while with the trainer and everything. And then when he finally came back for that one day that he was promised to be off, he had to go to the BMV and get that taken out of Springfield, Missouri, and put his license into his home state of Ohio. So, like I said, I'm just telling you guys all, you're not going to get home. But what they were doing to him is he would, like I said, he lived in Ohio. So what they would do to him is they would get him to about, I don't know, maybe Missouri, Indiana, closest. And then they would turn around and say, oh yeah, we got to load to California or the state of Washington. Send him out back west, and he wouldn't come home. And there would be times where he'd go that close. One time he hit me up and he was so excited he thought he was going to come home. And they said, no, you're headed to Nashville, Tennessee. So he went through Ohio to go to Tennessee because he had a load that had to be there at a certain time. And he was so excited. So here he is going through his state of Ohio to get to Tennessee and still not going to see his friends and family. So, like I said, think about this stuff, you know? I'm home every night, but I do 600 miles a day, and I don't get Christmas off, I don't get Thanksgiving off, I don't get New Year's off, I don't get Easter off. I work every weekend, and the only difference between me and an owner-operator, an over-the-road driver is I'm home every night. I get to sleep in my bed. That's about the only difference. Like I said, I'm doing almost 600 miles a day. Some of these guys only do 400 or 500 miles a day. Some do 300 miles a day, and there's some that'll max it out and do about 7 or a little more. Which, you know, that's pushing their time on their hours of being legal, because, you know, they can run out of hours, which, once again, you know, our lovely government had to get into trucking because, you know, they're in their suits and ties, and you know, they know everything about a semi, and they know when you're tired, and you know, oh, you got to have a half an hour break at 8 hours, and you got to do this and you got to do that. But by God, in 2020, when COVID hit, they didn't care. Oh, you can drive as much as you want. Oh, you don't have to have tags on your car. Oh, well, the BMV shut down. You can go. Once we open back up, we'll give you 2 or 3 months to get your tags on, and the truckers can keep driving, you know, because we need supplies. You know, it was all funny when people really needed you, you know, and then you finally started getting some credit from people. Oh, truckers, truckers, truckers. But you know what? Now that the world's back in line, now we're a piece of shit again to society. See what I mean? People only like you when they need you. And people can always bend everything, you know, when they need things. Oh, well, we need supplies really bad. The hospitals need masks and ventilators and all this and that. So yeah, you truckers can drive all the time now. Oh, well, isn't that nice, you know? A month or two ago, you know, DOT was after us, you know, wanting to see our e-logs and everything else because are you over on your hours and this and that and nitpicking? But you know, when the pandemic started happening and people needed supplies, oh yeah, now you can do whatever you want. So I just think it's amazing how, you know, the laws only apply when they want them to apply. That's what kills me about this world. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm going to say it for the third or fourth time. If you have anything about thinking about driving a truck, I'm telling you, don't do it. I'm telling you, will be miserable. And I mean, if you do it and you're going to have to go over the road, I would try to get on, I would guess, I would probably say with Walmart. I mean, they're paying over $100,000 now a year, $100,000 to $110,000 a year. Granted, you're going to be gone all the time. You're going to be over the road. You're going to be sleeping in that truck. You're going to be showering at truck stops. You're not going to have a life. But if you're a single man, you don't have a kid, you're not married, you know, or your kids are grown, and you know your wife wants to ride with you or something, or she wants to drive or something, then you know it might not be bad. But like I said, if you're gonna go over the road and you're not gonna be home anyway, you might as well go where the money is. And if I was gonna go over the road, I would probably go with Walmart. I mean, their trucks are slower than dog shit. I think they only do like 64, 65 miles per hour. They're slow. And TMC slow, Yellow slow. I mean, their trucks are so slow. Prime slow. I mean, their trucks are only like I said, 65, 66. They're so slow. But, you know, if you're going to make $100,000 to $110,000 a year, I mean, I guess just get in the right lane and poke and make the money. But I don't encourage anybody to drive. I really don't. You know, back in the day, in the, I'd say probably the 70s and 80s, truckers, you know, you could own your own truck and you could make a lot of money, you know, a lot of money. And these are back in the days when it was the good old boys and they actually cared about you and stuff. You broke down on the side of the road and there would be 7 trucks behind you making sure you're all right. Nowadays it's come down to like pretty much it's controlled by Somalians anymore, you know. Now it's, you know, getting out of your truck with your flip-flops on, you know, or driving down the road with your feet on the dash with your sandal, you know. The good old days of trucking's done. And the poor guys that's been trucking since, you know, the 60s and 70s, they've seen so much change out here. Like I said, I've only did it on and off for 11 years, and I've seen how much it's changed. And it's definitely not changed for the better, I can tell you that. These people out here are idiots anymore. They cut you off, slam on their brakes, you know, everybody's got road rage. Everybody's in such a damn hurry. Just yesterday, I could post it on my YouTube, but just yesterday there was a car under an R&L carrier's truck. He was hauling doubles, and a car was underneath him. They had 75 shut down, and they had a helicopter life flight right in the middle of the freeway, completely shut down. So, you know, and if that truck driver, you know, wasn't at fault at all, and he killed someone, the lawyers and everything's going to go on that case, because you guys hear the cases all the time, like Colombo Law and all them. if you've been hurt with a truck, call Colombo Law, you know, because it's always the trucker's fault. So if somebody pulls out in front of you and you can't get stopped and you kill them, the problem that people don't understand is you can't get stopped fast. You cannot stop like a car. That's why we got these gauges, or not gauges, but these knobs right here. That's your tractor brake and your trailer brakes, okay? Semis are ran on air brakes, which means when you push down on the brake pedal, air's got to go through the lines to get you stopped. They're not hydraulic brakes like a car. A car, you can stop. But have you ever been on a freeway to where you've been looking down for a second and all the traffic stopped and you're like, oh shit, I gotta hurry up and stop. You know, and there's times where you're like, damn, you know, I almost hit somebody. Well, think about being in a semi and having 80,000 pounds behind you pushing you. You're not gonna get stopped. So that's what I'm saying. So if somebody pulls out in front of you, you can't get stopped and you kill them. Not only is the lawyers and everything else and the people's family going to be suing you, because I'm telling you right now, they are going to blame the truck driver. I'm telling you that right now, because lawyers are greedy and they're all out for money. So they're like, oh yeah, you got killed. You got to have had a family member killed by a truck. Oh yeah, let me sue the hell out of them, because you know we're going to blame the truck. So. But not only that, not even the part of getting sued, even though it wasn't your fault at all and you tried to get stopped, you have to live with killing someone. You have to live with that the rest of your life. And like I said, whether it's your fault or not, you have to live with that. And I didn't know this guy personally, but somebody ran underneath his semi and he actually killed somebody. But the dude was on a motorcycle and was going so fast that this dude actually went under this guy's semi-trailer. And this guy was messed up for a while because, you know, once again, it wasn't his fault at all. The guy went under his trailer. He didn't get stopped. But this guy had to live with that, knowing that it was his truck and he killed someone. So I'm just telling everybody, just think about it before you decide to come out here and go trucking. And you're going to realize that a lot of these people out here are idiots and they don't care, you know, because like I said, nowadays people's entitled and you're a piece of shit truck driver. You know, I'm going to hurry up and speed up so you can't get over. I'm going to slam on my brakes on you. I'm going to flick you off. I'm going to call you a fucking idiot, you know. I'm just going to give you hell because you're a piece of shit to society. And you're big and we don't want to be behind you. And we are in a hurry. And we don't care what you have on that truck. We don't care if it's gas. We don't care if it's food. We don't care if it's baby formula. We don't care if it's our lumber for us that we're building a house because we're rich. We don't give a shit. We're entitled. You move off the side of the road. You let us get around you. Because we're entitled, and like I said, you're scum of the earth. So, I'm going to end this with this. Don't drive a semi. Go do something else. Go to college. Biden's going to try to take care of your first year of college for you. You know, try and get that 50,000 passed for everyone. Who knows if that's going to happen, but anyways, hope everybody's doing good and hope everybody has a good day and a good week.